Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's regular City of Cedar Falls City Council meeting for Monday, March 17th, 2025. I will now call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Schultz.
Here.
Latta.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Paulbaker.
Here.
Canfield.
Here.
Chrisman. Here. Dunn. Here. All members present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And if willing and able, could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll look for a motion to approve minutes regular City Council meeting March 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion from council? Seeing none. Any from the public? I'll see none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any agenda revisions?
I have no agenda revisions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And we will now move to public forum, where speakers will have one opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business. If there's an item on the agenda for tonight you'd like to speak on, please wait for that item. Otherwise, anything else you can speak on at this point. So is there anyone here that would like to speak tonight? Just name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Everett Wilson, and I'm a man from Black Hawk County. 2 days ago, Saturday, March 15th, I was hate crimed at Sharky's Bar in Cedar Falls on College Hill. My friends and I wanted to get dressed up and go out because I'd never been to a bar before. Me and a friend both wore wigs and dressed very alternatively, not like I am right now. Essentially, I was dressed in drag. We walked in and immediately felt the judgment from most people in there, including staff. We went down to the dance floor and came back to go outside. This girl started messing with my friend, telling her that my friend is very interested in her, but it was clearly a joke. We're different people. We're used to being bullied like that. Then they started to say something along the lines of that to me. And Landon Foley is his name, Landonfoley. Asked me if I had a mustache. I said yes, and it's real. I turned to walk away, and he called me a fag. I started yelling at him because I'm not going to let that slide. His friend said he called me fat, but I know what I heard. He then just started to call me a full faggot. I began to record. Landon punched my phone out of my hand, making it fly like 15 feet away. I hit him in self-defense, not knowing his next move. He grabbed my phone and ran. The manager, Sierra, at Sharky's, demanded me and my friends to leave because I hit him. She refused to check the cameras and denied him ever taking my phone, even though we all saw it. I have a video of him now punching my phone and flying, and this is the phone that was in the dumpster. He threw it in the dumpster. I didn't find it Saturday night, but yesterday a friend and I went back to look and miraculously found it. Sharky's is not a safe space for any trans, queer, alternative, or different individual. I was also let know later that the staff was making fun of our outfits through the walkies. I now have an open police case and pressing charges. Nextly, I will be telling you the 10 stages of genocide, and I don't use that term lightly. 1, classification. People are divided into us and them. 2, symbolization. People are forced to identify themselves. 3, discrimination. People begin to face systemic discrimination. Number 4, dehumanization. People equated with animals, vermin, or diseases. Number 5, the government creates special groups to enforce the policies. Number 6, polarization. The government broadcasts propaganda to turn the populace against the group. Number 7, preparation. Official act to remove or relocate people begins. Number 8, which is the stage we are on now, beginning of murders, theft of property, my phone was stolen, and trial massacres. Stage 9, extermination, wholesale elimination of the group. It is extermination and not murder because the people are not considered human. Denial, the government denies that it has committed any crime. I do not use that term lightly. Again, genocide is what is happening here. Trans people are actively facing a genocide. We are in constant danger for living the lives we want, for being comfortable in our bodies. We have huge targets on our back, and I know this makes mine much, much bigger, but I clearly already have one, and I'm not going to hide or disappear or give into any fascist ideals. Trans rights are human rights, and we will never be erased or forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item tonight? Because otherwise, I would like to take a moment, and I know in light of the state did recently pass legislation that took gender identity out of protected classes, but one thing I do want to make sure we're clear on as a city is that harassment or assault of any person, regardless of any protected class, is still a crime and will still be treated as such. I know we had a hate forum just the other weekend discussing a lot of this, and some questions came up around that fact of what does it mean when that's taken out of the Civil Rights Act and protected classes. But assault or aggravation or this type of treatment of any individual is not allowed and will be enforced as such. We can't, as a body, speak to the specific incident. I know you have opened up a police action with that, so thank you. So anyone else for public comment tonight? Name and address, please.
Hi, Kim Johnson-Jordan. Like to speak a little bit more about the Sartori property, 515 College Street. One of Cedar Falls' best kept secret and a nice gem to the area. It is 14.6 acres. It's undergone many different types of zoning changes. In time of response, we need an extra layer of protection. Looking at the Cedar Falls Trust Board minutes and requirements that we are under obligation with the lease that we have with Mercy One currently, there could be up to 3 different times that they apply to retain ownership or tenancy, I guess, to what we own. Currently, Cedar Falls does own that property. We own the building. It is our responsibility to maintain the property, the inside structure, the outside structure. We are very poised to give them the best utility and energy audits that we can all, right here in this office, ask for at any time for scheduled maintenance. As I'm looking through the trust board meeting minutes, I'm not seeing anything that's specifically put into that building for routine maintenance. And that's very alarming when we have foot traffic coming in and out of that facility. Healthcare is one of those things that when we had COVID, we realized that we were short in beds, and that equated to lack of staff. And we have the facility, we have a 40,000 plus population of people within this community, and in Black Hawk County we have around 140,000. We have a lot of points of service that are coming in and out of this community. And I look at all of these things because I'm trying to poise a letter to look at other options. Before Councilman Habacher took seat, I was asking if we could put a little bit more attention as a city body into public safety and the basic needs of our community, to make sure that we were not underutilizing or underestimating the potential of that building. I was told to go ahead and look into it. Past history, as I have reported before, we were at one point in 1996 when we went under an agreement with then City Administrator Richard McAllister and the board that we had for the hospital, which was Park Bain, and the CEO, which was Verna Klinkenborg. Those 3 decided, and really without much input, it eventually came to council, decided that the insurance companies were becoming too large for us to really, as a public entity, run with that and maintain it. As that moved through, there's different times where I'm looking at in our financials that we have here available. It's talking about the fact that we were under a partnership, we were funding the building. I'll find that. Consolidated. In 1999 was the first year that an interest revenue from the Sartori Trust was budgeted to pay for community health care concerns. A separate board was appointed with city council oversight, which Ron Gaines sits on, and that was held at 7:30 in the morning, typically. During these meetings, we're discussing everything but money back into the building. We're not discussing the future of it. And that's where I'm asking council to look at what are the basic needs for the repairs to get that once Mercy One does decide to build. And we were told that in 2026, we have a finished agreement with Wheaton Franciscan, Covenant Medical, Mercy One, Trinity Management Systems to end their tenancy, so we have the ability to find someone else. We need to make sure that that happens. We need to make sure that it doesn't go into future development, as I've looked at with these zoning changes that we've had. Currently, we're under a C. We're under a C. May I have just one more minute or a little bit more?
Only for the 5 minutes, unless someone would like to make a motion, but otherwise,
Okay.
that'll be the 5 minutes. So thank you, Ms. Jensen.
Okay. What I'm
Ms. Jensen,
figuring,
that is the 5 minutes, so.
$68 million is currently what I'm seeing the total value of that property is.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Jensen. Is there anyone else for public comment this evening, please?
Mr. Mayor, I actually have one to pass on from a citizen, and it's on my own point of view.
I don't think typically we would accept a written.
It's a public comment for myself, basically.
As you sit in the dais, you're a member of the council, and so if you want, there's no rule prohibiting you from making a statement during public forum, but not at the dais.
So I need to go down there?
If mayor will allow it and council approves it.
Yeah, I mean, you have the open floor if you want to public comment.
Can I say it?
What's that?
Name and address. Well, I'm thinking ahead.
Name and address. Well, I guess Gil said.
Darrell
Counselor
Cruz, Cedar Falls, 2725 Minnetonka Drive. Thank you. The comment I was just going to make was, as a citizen, and I wear a hat up there as well, that during the goal-setting process, we debated one of the first items in our short-term financial plan is to limit tax increases to no more than the rate of inflation. The proposal that's in front of council to be debated next council meeting and then finalized, we're at a 5.42% increase when the December CPI is stating 3.4%. So we're 2% over our stated, agreed upon, debated goal-setting target. So we need to be prepared to do some more cuts in the budget to get in line with our own agreed upon target. So that's all I really had to comment on. So,
Thank you, Mr. Cruz.
thank you.
Anyone else for public comment tonight? Name and address, please.
Bob Manning, 2908 West 3rd Street, Cedar Falls. First of all, side comment, what a beautiful day. Does that put an extra step into all of your walkings? It sure did mine. And I had green socks on earlier, but I took them off because I was hot. I had the opportunity to drive through the Cedar Falls Industrial Park today. And every time I do that, I do it generally on a nice day because the nice day makes me feel good. And to see what's happened in the Cedar Falls Industrial Park over the many years has been beautiful. It took a lot of fortitude and for people to adopt the concept of financing and providing land for developers to build buildings. And that project certainly has been very successful. So I applaud those people in the past that made those tough decisions. I am concerned about the number of available residential lots that are available in Cedar Falls this year. It seems like we've been on a kind of a roller coaster, and we happen to be down in the numbers this year. I was encouraged by what the council was talking about last fall about some type of a TIF district or an incentive system. One of the reasons, in my opinion, that we're not seeing more residential lots being developed is because of the cost of the infrastructure. Certainly the construction cost has gone up also. But I just wanted to point that out. In a budget season, it's hard to look at doing some things, but it's important for our growth. Growth provides those additional taxes, so we can provide the services to the community. We don't want to get to the point where we have to cut services, and potentially that's a concern of mine, and I hope for many of you also. The industrial park, I had a note here that it was the city codes that required the type of property and the quality of property that's been built back there, and thank goodness for that. You know, there's been construction contractors mumbling and bumbling about some of those things, and it was a challenge for them, but they all said, okay, if this is what it takes, this is what we want to do. And so I think that it's time perhaps in a work session or a committee of the whole to raise up some of those things. I'm aware of some of the other housing initiatives that have come along, and they sound very good, but Cedar Falls having a 2 or 3% growth factor is a manageable growth if there's the residential lots, the roofs as they are called in the business, if the roofs are out there to encourage people to buy or to move up or whatever. And certainly that's what businesses are looking at when they come to the Cedar Valley, is available real estate. And again, we're in a tight situation. So I want to just share those thoughts with you, and I know that you've got a ton of things on your plate and what's going on, but I would hope that there can be a timeout sometime to delve into that a little further. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manning. Is anyone else for public comment tonight, please? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and we will move to staff updates. I believe, Director Robeck, we've got one from you.
Sure. Just wanted to let everyone know that if you own property in Cedar Falls, you should have gotten your letter in the mail from Blackhawk County. Just wanted a couple notes about just keeping in mind that the letter can be a little misleading, because in the letter it assumes everyone had a 10% increase on their assessed value. So unfortunately in the letter it shows that if for the city of Cedar Falls that your property taxes for the upcoming year would go up by 18.5%. But just want to make sure that everyone understands that if in fact the council kept with the $12.50 rate that's in the letter, really a residential home would see about a 7.8% increase. So again, having that in there is a little misleading, but wanted to just point out, if you want to learn more about how those details work, how those factors work, you can sure look at the presentation that was done on February 18th. That's posted on the city's website. Also, mayor and council have already had discussions about some cuts that's going to get that, or could get that down to a 12.20 rate, which is a 5% increase. But again, and that's still not final. Again, what's in the letter is just what's the maximum. The council will be having 2 hearings in April to finalize that on what the final rate is. But again, and obviously those are public hearings, so public can sure attend those. But just wanted to note that if you do have questions about the letter, though, obviously you're more than welcome to call down at City Hall, and we can explain any of that that's in the letter as well.
Thank you, Director. And do you have the actual number we plan to propose, percentage? Because I know it's not exactly 5%, it's 5 point.
I think it's 5.29 or something like that with the 1220
Yep.
rate for residential property.
I know I've already gotten at least one email from a resident with concerns about the letter, so
Right.
just wanted to make sure we gave an update on it. Thank you, Director. Now move to special order of business. Item number 2, a public hearing on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the Creekside Business Park project. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So move. Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then for staff comments, we've got Tom Bitter. Thank you, Tom.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's public hearing is for the plans, specifications, and estimate of costs and quantities for the Creekside Business Park project. The project consists of the installation of 2 roundabouts along West Ridgeway Avenue at the intersections of Cedar Lane, which is the roundabout on the west side of the screen, and Waterway Avenue, which is the roundabout on the east side. The installation of Gibson Drive, which is the looped road south of Ridgeway on your screen. There will be trail along Ridgeway Avenue and down the west side of Gibson Drive and looping around the retention basin. There will be associated site grading, utilities, sidewalk, street trees, and landscaping within the roundabout center islands. The total estimated cost for the construction of this project is just under $10 million at $9,863,431. The project will be funded by South Cedar Falls Tax Increment Financing. The Engineering Division of the Public Works Department recommends approving the plans, specifications, and estimate of costs and quantities for the Creekside Business Park project. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any clarifying questions for Tom at this point? All right, and now we will open it up for public comment, if anyone would like to speak on this item today. All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and look for a motion for a resolution approving and adopting the plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Creekside Business Park project.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item number 3, public hearing on the proposed plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2025 public sidewalk/trail infill and repair project. Motion to receive and file for publication.
So move.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then for staff comments, we've got David Wicke. Thank you, David.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. This public hearing is for the 2025 sidewalk and trail infill and repair project. Project consists of construction replacement of sidewalks at various locations in the city, pedestrian trail improvements, minor grading, miscellaneous curb and gutter replacements. As you can see on the map and also included in your agenda packets, the areas that we are tackling with this project. We have a infill project on 20th Street. That'll be sidewalk extension west of College to those apartments that go west along 20th Street. And then the sidewalk repair is our ADA ramps in our sidewalk assessment zone 7 this year, and then we're doing a reconstruction of a portion of Prairie Lakes Trail. Total estimated cost for construction for this project is $323,704. Project will be funded by general obligation bonds and hotel motel tax. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, David. Any clarifying questions for David at this point? All right, seeing none, we'll move to, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Wicke, I'm in favor of the sidewalk infill.
Is that a question?
No, I just looking for expressions. On the Murner, from the college to Murner, you're on the south side?
Correct.
What's the plan along the section next to the creek when you get closer to college? Will there be some sort of a guardrail or what's going on that section?
So the sidewalk is going to be up against the back of curb to try to stay away from that creek area. There's a section of that creek area where we are going to restabilize the bank. There's some runoff and some erosion issues that's going to be taken care of. So we'll be up on top, out away from the creek area. So there's no planned guardrail for this project.
Okay. But if there was something that you'll reassess if needed?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions from council? All right, seeing none, we'll open up to public comment. If anyone would like to speak on this tonight. Just name and address, please.
Good evening. Roger White, 2303 Greenwood Avenue here in town. Also on the board of Cedar Valley Trails Partnership and on your Bicycle Pedestrian Commission, among other things that I participate in. I want to provide some support for the project. Certainly the sidewalk infill is very important. Our pedestrian portion of our commission is always interested in making sure that our sidewalks are connected and they are in good repair. So I want to support that portion of the proposal. In addition, the trail portion that has been folded into this, all in one project, is on the Prairie Lakes Trail. Prairie Lakes Trail is probably in the worst shape of all of our trails, and not just the segment that's apparently going to be dealt with this year. Originally, we were told, or led to believe, maybe is a better way, because that's what we understood, that the entire trail, Cedar Prairie Trail, or Prairie Lakes Trail rather, that was in need of repair was going to be a part of the project. And that is the portion from just beyond Mayor's Bridge out to the loop at the park, and then there is a loop around the lake that particularly the west side of that loop is very bad and very rough and needs repair. Well, from what I've come to believe, from what I understood from just a meeting a few days ago, a RAGBRAI meeting, believe it or not, but it came up that the project is only going to do the portion from below Mayor's Bridge to where it intersects with the loop, and the portion west of the lake is not going to be done this year. I just want to say, if that is indeed the way it's going to play out, I do hope that that second piece, the part west of the lake, is a priority in a future year. The Cedar Valley Trails Partnership, which, as I mentioned, I'm a member of the board of, we are fundraising and we are prepared to contribute. We're just short of $30,000 right now towards that project. We're going to continue fundraising for that trail so that we will have some more that we can contribute a year from now. But we hope that if it's not all done this year, which apparently it's not going to be, that it will be on next year's plan. So that's what I would like to ask, and I do support this work being done, and thank you for what is going to be done. It's too bad we can't get the whole thing done this year.
Thank you, Mr. White. Brian, are you able to maybe speak? Do you know what we have scheduled? Is that scheduled for a future period, or is it?
I don't think we have anything programmed in, unless Dave can answer that, but I know probably the biggest problem we have out there is the type of surface, and it's a hot mix asphalt surface, and we're getting vegetation growing up, and that's what's causing a lot of our problems. We've done a lot of maintenance work out there to try to mitigate that. However, I think the only real solution is to use PCC concrete. And so that's what this plan is for. It's kind of tedious work to get done in that tight area, so that's why we're having to do this in segments. Dave, if you want to speak to future.
Yeah, so we are looking at the whole Prairie Lakes Trail system, and, you know, depending on funding availability, you know, really determines when we can get those things programmed and funded through the CIP. I mean, we can program in the CIP right now, they just wouldn't be funded at this point, but it is something that we're looking forward to getting programmed and figure out funding for.
Okay. Thank you both.
Yep.
Any other public comment for this item tonight? Just name, please.
Kim Jordan. One of the things I brought up maybe a month or so ago, was the incomplete bike trail that was off of 27th Street near the high school, the new high school, connecting to the university bike trail. And just wondering if it was tabled or if there was communication with the neighbors when that road construction was going on for 2 to almost 3 years, that there would be a future bike trail coming in. And if so, is the money available? Has it been set aside? Or was that just inclusive with roundabouts and so forth?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. We'll get you some follow-up on that. Anyone else for public comment on this tonight? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and look for a motion to approve resolution approving and adopting the plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2025 public sidewalk trail infill and repair project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item number 4, public hearing with respect to a resolution of necessity proposing the West 23rd Street reconstruction project. Do we have a motion to receive and file approved publication? Seconded, or motion and seconded, and any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And again, for staff comments, we have Engineer Ben Claypool. Thank you, Ben.
Mayor, Council, as part of the West 23rd Street reconstruction project coming up from Hudson Road through Campus Street, city staff is prepared and is now executing the legal process allowing for the eventual assessment of a portion of the construction costs. In this specific instance, the only adjacent property owner is the Board of Regents on behalf of the University of Northern Iowa. This public hearing is one part of the overall procedure allowing for this assessment. After this public hearing, city staff is recommending the passing of the resolution with respect to the adoption of the resolution of necessity. This resolution, if adopted, would nearly complete the preliminary assessment procedures, with the only item remaining being the next item in tonight's special orders of business, which is a resolution directing the preparation of the final plans and contract documents for the construction project itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Any clarifying questions at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll open it up for public comment then, if anyone would like to speak on this item tonight. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and looking for a motion to approve resolution with respect to the adoption of the resolution of necessity proposing for the West 23rd Street reconstruction from Hudson Road to Campus Street project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move to item number 5, and this is directly related into that previous item, for a motion to approve the resolution directing preparation of detailed plans and specifications, form of contract, and notice to bidders on the West 23rd Street reconstruction from Hudson Road to Campus project.
So move.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item number 6, motion to approve public hearing on a proposed vacation of certain public right-of-way of Campus Street south of West 23rd Street. Do we have a motion to receive and file approved publication of notice of hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. And all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And for staff comments, we have Michelle Peasley.
Thank you.
Michelle.
The portion of the street that is requested for vacation is east of the Dome and Hudson Street, north of University Avenue and 27th Street. As shown in the slide, the entire area is part of the University of Northern Iowa's campus. Campus Street south of 23rd Street dead ends at the building called the Commons. Certified mail was sent to all utilities in the area. CFU and the city will not need an easement over this section of the street as this utilities already established as private. As listed in the staff report, the criteria for this vacation has been met. With that, the Planning Commission recommends approval of this vacation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. Any clarifying questions for Michelle at this time? All right, seeing none, then we'll move to public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this tonight? All right, also seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and look for a motion to pass an ordinance vacating a portion of Campus Street right-of-way south of West 23rd Street upon its first consideration.
Moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move to the consent calendar. The following items will be acted upon by a voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion, unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Is there anyone from, or any items from council to consider? Seeing none, any from the public? 8 and 9, please. Items 8 and item 9. Any other from the public? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion to approve items 7 through 12, excluding items 8 and 9 of the consent calendar.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to item number 8. For motion to approve the following recommendation of the mayor relative to the appointment of members to boards and commissions, Kathy Showalter, Civil Service Commission, and Izuri Arestugi, Human Rights Commission. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded and open for discussion. Any from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Just name and address, please.
My name is TW. I'm the chair of the Cedar Falls Human Rights Commission. If I may, can I speak on 8 and 9 at the same time? Is that okay?
Everyone's okay with that? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I would, first of all, just want to welcome Izuri to the council. We've been wanting to have her for a little while and just wanted to have her voice on the commission. So it's wonderful to have her. We appreciate her voice being an immigrant to the community and having that voice to us and being an entrepreneur. We're really proud to have that voice. Our commission is growing and really improving in the way that we reach the community and reach the city. With item number 9, the resignation of Dave Kivett. Commissioner Kivett resigned due to health reasons, not due to any other issues. I just wanted to take this time and thank him for the service that he had over the past 2 terms and wish him the best of luck. The information that he provided, all things are looking good. It was just a personal decision. And if I may just speak to the young man who spoke a little bit earlier, as chair of the Human Rights Commission, it is my job to advocate for everyone in this city and anyone who has a human rights complaint. I want them to contact us directly. I know I'm speaking to council for the microphone, but I'm actually speaking to everyone behind me and everyone watching and listening. Any human rights issues you have that you see, that you witness, that you hear of, reach out to us. You can go to cedarfalls.com, look at the HRC, Google Cedar Falls, Iowa, HRC. My email address is tw.ingham.com, tw.ingham@cedarfalls.com. Email me. I want to know, we want to know. Human rights doesn't just mean, those who are most affected. Every person in this city, every person who visits this city, every person who works in this city has human rights, and we want to know. It is our job to advocate and fight for the human rights of everyone in this city, and that's what we want to do. We're working really hard to have more events. We had our hate crime forum a couple weeks ago, and we really want to fight for everyone in this community, and that's what we want to do. We now have an opening on the HRC, and we want to have everyone and anyone apply who wants to really advocate and wants to fight for those citizens. So I don't have any issues with 8 and 9. I just wanted to say thank you to Zuri, and again, thank you to Dave, and that is my time. Thank you, Council and Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Ingham. And again, I'll second that, and thank you to all the work that you and the team do. I know, and again, also to Dave Kivett, he's provided a lot of good input and leadership with the group over the last almost 8 years. I believe he's been on there. And Godspeed for everything with his health and getting better, so thank you, guys. I'll bring it back to council for any discussion on this item before we vote, if there is any. Okay, seeing none requires a voice vote, so all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I'll move to the resolution calendar. The following items will...
If we may just point of order, we'll have to.
Yes,
take
we
number.
should also vote on the other item. So, thank you,
Motion
guys.
to receive and file following resignation of Dave Kivett.
Motioned?
Second.
Motion second, and any discussion?
Just again, ditto to what TW said on both points.
Counselor. And otherwise, any conversation from the public? All right, seeing none also requires a voice vote, so all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. We will now move to the resolution calendar. The following items will be acted upon by a roll call vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Are there any for consideration from council?
Mr. Mayor, number 18.
18. Okay, any others from council? Seeing none,
16.
what was that?
16.
16. Any others from council? All right, seeing none, seeing no more, any from the public? So seeing none, I will look for a motion to approve items 13 through 30 of the resolution calendar, excluding items 16 and 18.
So move. Second.
Motion seconded and requires a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me. Given that 16 was pulled, 17.
Oh, pull 17 along
relies
with
on-
it, since contingent. We'll also pull 17 if everyone's amenable to that. String.
Second.
So all items except 16, 17, and 18.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we'll move to item 16, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a 2025 overnight town agreement with Ventures Endurance LLC, DBA RAGBRAI. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded and open for discussion from council.
So I really just pulled this so we can start having the conversation and all the excitement that we have going for having RAGBRAI come through town. A lot of questions are already popping up, and look forward to hearing what the events are. And I see we got some Community Main Street folks here tonight, as well as discussions that Kelly and I have had with the North Cedar Neighborhood Association. So the excitement all through town is high, and looking for just like, where are they coming in? Anybody know that yet? We don't know that yet.
Well, here, let me tell you, just kidding.
Yeah.
Everyone in the room looking at me like, don't.
Don't
We
tell
actually
them.
don't, I
Don't
don't
tell
know
them.
it. I don't know it. I told them I don't want to know.
Somebody from the west.
That's yep, that's what we've heard is.
Of course, it could be the northwest and south.
It could be the Northwest, it could be straight
So many
west, it
options.
could be.
RAGBRAI will be announcing that in April, early April.
Okay, thank you, Steph.
Thank you for actually giving helpful.
So for 16 and 17, that's all the discussion to get things going. Ron, you looked like you were getting ready to say something.
Just one other thing is we do know the night before stay is in Iowa Falls, so that's how they route them into our community. We're not sure yet, though.
I will take a second just to give a lot of credit to the team that's working on this. I think it's one of those things you commit to and then realize how much work it is after saying, yeah, that'd be a great idea. So just thank you to our staff team, Community Main Street, Tourism, put a lot of work into this, so appreciate you guys.
And don't forget to sign up to volunteer.
And don't forget to sign up to volunteer because we need a lot of volunteers. So cedarfallsragbri.org if you'd like to volunteer. Any other discussion from council?
That's it for 16 and 17. We'll follow whatever procedure to get through that.
All right, seeing none, any discussion from the public? Just name, please.
Roger White, you already know I'm 2303 Greenwood Avenue. I wasn't going to call this item out and speak to it unless someone else did, but since it's been called out, I want to speak to the RAGBRAI overnight and how eager we are for it to happen, but at the same time, we're a little bit overwhelmed. I have in my hand the guidebook that RAGBRAI provides us as a committee for all of the things that we need to do to prepare for the overnight. And while I have served in this role previously in Cedar Falls and most recently when Waterloo was the overnight in 2020 and 2021, it took 2 years, but it only happened once because of COVID in 2020. I'm familiar with the handbook. I've had a similar version. This is the 2025 version, but I've had a similar version in my hand previously, and I know what's in it. We are excited. We are gearing up. We've got a lot of work to do yet, but we've got a lot of things behind us that have already been decided. And the most important thing is exactly what Councilperson Dunn mentioned, is we need volunteers. And so if you are listening or watching, maybe a better word, and you are interested in being a good Cedar Falls citizen and a good ambassador for Cedar Falls, the Thursday, the 24th, I believe it is, of July, it's that week anyway, that Thursday, is the overnight. And if you can spend some time that day volunteering, go to the website that the mayor pointed out earlier on. If you can spend some time ahead of that time as being part of the committees that are working, go to that site and register that you will be able to help, and we will get you plugged into one of the different areas that has a special committee for each area. And if you have room in your yard or you want to share your home with riders, the riders are really great people. Anyone who's ever done this has said afterwards that it was a great experience in meeting these folks from wherever. They might be from Iowa, they might be from any of the other 49 states, they might be from a dozen different foreign countries because they all come to Iowa to do RAGBRAI. But also, if you want to take part in that, again, it's the same process. Go to that website, and there is a special link. I think it's routing through Facebook for those who want to have housing provided. But you go to the RAGBRAI link first, and then you'll get rerouted, and you can put in your name, and you can actually pick from those groups of riders who have already registered that they're looking for a place in Cedar Falls, even though we're months out. You can pick from them and contact them and set up a match, or you can just, I believe, make it known that you are available and your home is available, and it's quite an easy process to do, I guess. I don't use Facebook, so I don't know how it works, but I've been told. Anyway, I hope you approve both of these items for the contract that we have to have as a city with RAGBRAI in order to continue to be the overnight town, and for the special arrangements that the second item, 17, will do for the advisory committee, which is made up of some of your city staff and some of volunteers, including myself, that we will finalize this great opportunity for Cedar Falls and be able to showcase our wonderful city for the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any other public speakers for this item? All right, seeing none. Oh, we got one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Last minute, Cheyenne Brickman, 320 Barnett Drive. I didn't actually realize I'd have a comment on RAGBRAI, of all things. But I just want to point out that if we're kind of negotiating like people coming in and people being willing to be hosts, the LGBT community is not safe right now. And it's going to be really important that either the people hosting are non-discriminatory and the people that we would host for as residents are non-discriminatory.
Thank you. Any other public comment for this item tonight? All right, seeing none, requires unless any further conversation, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, item number 17, a resolution establishing the RAGBRAI Advisory Committee, appointing members and delineating duties and powers. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion from council?
Can we add that the mayor has to ride?
I'd be game
One
for
day.
that.
I don't think we can.
So are you saying I have to take vacation that week?
Are you proposing an amendment?
Can I second an option?
I think we're good.
Any further discussion? It's going to live stream the whole thing. Any from the public? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 18, resolution approving and authorizing submission of a carbon reduction program application fiscal year 26 to 29 to the Blackhawk County Metropolitan Planning Organization Area Transportation Policy Board relative to the Union Road and West 27th Street intersection improvement project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and council discussion.
Yes. I just wanted to highlight some things for the public. We have a grant here that we're applying for a carbon reduction program funding, as I understand it. There's great acceptance with roundabouts in the community. I love them. Put one at the end of my driveway. But the concern of some of the public is the expense. And I just wanted to point out we're aggressively looking for funds for various grants to mitigate the cost. I know this one, in the name, it implies carbon reduction. There's another one in a community nearby, Iowa Clean Air Attainment Program, where that one would reduce volatile organic compounds, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxides, et cetera. So we're after the funds to do so. I think it's a great thing. Question, have we got our grant writing person hired and up and running and so on? Would that be where these came from maybe, or do you know?
Yes, actually, I think these came from the MPO that actually is taking applications for that. So that's how we knew
Okay.
in this particular grant.
Okay. Are there limits on grants? Can we stack up a bunch of them? Like if we can find a bunch to apply for, is there limits on grants?
Well, I can tell you, we strategically look at different projects. So I'll probably digress here a little bit, but so we're looking at reconstructing 27th Street all the way down to Union Road. We're actually breaking that up into two separate projects just because of STP funds that we can do over a couple of years there. So we're looking at the 27th Street project as one project, and then from the south terminus of that all the way to University Avenue will be. So as we do with a lot of our projects, we stack up a lot of different funding sources. So in several grants or that we go after, that's what we're going to do.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other discussions from council? And thanks for calling that out too, because
Yeah, I guess it's important because people miss the reasoning behind roundabouts because of the emissions and time, and think of time, but emissions is a big thing, especially when you're idling at certain intersections for a lengthy time. Thank you.
any from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The motion carries. We'll now move to ordinances. Item number 31, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances relative to Police Division, Acting Chief in absence of the Police Chief and Fire Division, Acting Chief in absence of the Fire Chief upon its first consideration. Motion seconded. And quick, I'll just preface, we've got a bunch of ordinances on here, so just for the public knows, every couple of years we try to go through a lot of our ordinances, just clean them up, make updates all at once that have been problem areas. So a lot of these ones we have are kind of cleanup ones that we try to do in a few bunches. So any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 32, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 13, Licenses and Business Regulations of the Code of Ordinances relative to sales prohibited on public property, exemptions, application for license, and insurance relative to mobile merchants upon its first consideration. Motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 33, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 17, Parks and Recreation of the Code of Ordinances relative to definitions, penalties for violation of Article No Tree or Shrub Planting, Trimming, or other similar work in public places, tree trimmer's license, exemptions from license and permit requirements, temporary cutoff of electricity for purpose of pruning or removal, fastening signs, wire, etc., deposit or storage of materials impeding passage of water and air to roots, protection during building operations, tree and shrub damage, trees and shrubs overhanging street or sidewalk, disease or infected trees declared nuisance, maintenance of infected trees prohibited, failure to destroy infected trees or wood, destruction by city, noxious weeds prohibited, exceptions and failure to destroy noxious weeds, right to hearing, destruction by city upon its first consideration. Kevin, that's a record for good job.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? And any from the public? Seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 34, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of Ordinances relative to definitions, plantings by property owners or parties in possession, duty to maintain street side area assessment, damage by city to plantings or obstructions in the street side area, warnings and barriers, storage of building materials, certain commercial use of public sidewalks, duty of abutting property owner to repair defective sidewalk, and standards for numbers upon its first consideration. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item 35, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of Ordinances relative to the use of public sidewalks for sidewalk cafes, operation of sidewalk cafes, application for sidewalk cafes permit, and insurance requirements upon its first consideration.
So
Motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 36, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of Ordinances relative to contractor's bond, insurance and contractor's bond, insurance upon its first consideration. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion second, and any discussion from council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I would like to just verify on this one if there is a spot where the resident homeowner can repair the sidewalk adjacent to their property. I wanted to double check, does that include driveway panels, or do they still need to have a bonded contractor for driveway panels of the sidewalk?
David, you just want to come up front quick? Or
Mr. Mayor, I don't know that we can shoot from the hip on this one. We'll have to actually get back to you. We're not prepared to answer that right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, Mr. Ganfield, what you're talking about is on the private property side for the panels. And I don't think that requires it. Mr. Wiggy thinks it.
No, you're correct.
So,
Right, for the right-of-way excavation, yeah, there's a permit and the surety bond for that, we just passed on it separate. But this one, for driveways, it requires a surety bond. I'm just curious if the sidewalk panels that transit the driveway for the homeowner, can they repair their own without a surety bond? Or is this now requiring them to get a surety bond to fix their driveway sidewalk? Thank you, sir.
That was
Kevin's
going to be my question
deep in thought, too.
because it's any person here. And if it's a homeowner,
So the sidewalk section that goes through the driveway is usually within the right-of-way, so it's inside the right-of-way line. So they have to pull that permit, just like they would any other sidewalk or excavation permit.
Permit, yes, but
Yes,
surety
but
bond.
Yes, they require that, I believe so. I'd have to double check to make sure, but I think they do.
Mr. Mayor.
So subsection C, maybe I can, I think what you're referring to is 19178C, abutting owners performing only. Is that what you're talking about, Dustin? Okay. It says abutting owners performing only their own sidewalk work are not required to furnish a bond or liability insurance policy if such owners execute an agreement with the city to hold the city harmless from any and all claims that may arise out of the sidewalk work. I think that was there before, it just got moved. I don't think that's a change.
Correct, and I'm only asking if the driveway definition is just the driveway, or if it's now inclusive of the sidewalk portion of the driveway.
I think the engineers were trying to address that in that if it's on the right-of-way side, it's part of the public way anyway.
Well, so is the sidewalk in front of the homeowner's parcel. But they-
Exactly.
But they don't have to get bonded to do their sidewalk, even though it's also in the right-of-way. So if I've got a driveway, there's sidewalk across the driveway, there's also sidewalk near the driveway.
Yeah.
I can do all that sidewalk without a surety bond in front of my own home. Do I have to get a surety bond to do the sidewalk that's in the driveway?
I interpret the sidewalk, since it's required to be carried across a driveway, is part of the sidewalk, same rule applies.
Okay.
It took us a while to get there, but now we're.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
If I can continue down that path, this is saying that any person doing excavation work. So if I break out my own panels of my sidewalk, I don't have an excavator. I mean, is that excavation work? I mean, I'm repairing some panels of my sidewalk. I've done it for 30 years on my rentals. And I always get a permit, particularly in the driveway, to make sure it's 5 inches. And an inspector comes out and checks that. But then I've never been told I need any other bonding or surety bond.
The property owner would not. If you hired a contractor, they would have to have the surety bond. So the property owner would not have to have.
So I can do my
according
own,
to-
not my
Correct.
home, but my rentals. I can do my
The
own.
property owner.
Understood, but there's usually a distinction at some points.
Only-
Okay, very good, just clarifying, thank you.
Thank you, counselors. Any other discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? All seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 30, that motion carries. Item 37, pass an ordinance amending Chapter 23, Traffic and Motor Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances relative to definitions, electric personal assistive mobility devices, control of vehicle, reduced speed, use of sidewalks, pedestrian use of a roadway, solicitation of rides, riding on sidewalk prohibited in specified locations, traffic control signal legend, pedestrian conveyances and bicycles prohibited from use on certain city property, and pedestrian conveyances and bicycles must yield to pedestrians afoot, priority upon its first consideration. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
I just screwed my thing up, so I'm going to say aye.
Thank you, Counselor.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Move to bills and claims. We have a motion to allow bills and claims for March 17th.
So moved.
Motion seconded. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
You screwed the whole thing up?
I don't know. I actually hit the thing on the side.
We're going to be out of here shortly.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Any council updates or announcements? Seeing none, we didn't have any written communications. Any pressing? Also seeing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, that's all right. Just one day. Just one day. Not a psycho. Yeah. 50 miles.